الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah. I would now like to call upon the Advisor Academics Curriculum and NAHE, Mr. Engineer Raza Chauhan Saab, for his welcome speech, please. Please welcome Mr. Raza Chauhan.
Thank you, Seher. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Respected jury members and my dear colleagues from the HEC and very dear and near students and parents of the students. A very good morning and assalamu alaikum. It is indeed a great pleasure and a privilege to stand in front of you in lieu of our executive director. Actually, she had a commitment. She has a commitment at this point in time. That is an unfortunate or a fortunately coincidence that she has to be there for that activity or event. So I warmly welcome all of you in this gathering of declamation contest, which is to celebrate or commemorate the Constitution's Golden Jubilee. Since you all know that 50 years ago on 23rd of March, this National Assembly passed the resolution for passing the Constitution of Pakistan, to which we are owed to obey, and the very preamble of the Constitution is, it shall obey the teachings of Quran and Sunnah in all spheres, may it be social or may it be a professional sphere. So we all should try to be in alignment with the Constitution of Pakistan. The Constitution of Pakistan not only provides equal rights to all the citizens, but also delineates the duties of a responsible citizen and guarantees freedom to all. Organizing such an event of inter-university bilingual declamation competition to celebrate the Golden Jubilee of the Constitution of Pakistan is aimed to reminding us not only of the importance of our Constitution, but also the power of words which you would be expressing during the whole day to convince or to sort of argue or to sort of create a healthy academic ambience or environment of discussions and arguments, and the importance of effective communication, of course, in shaping our society, so that a real reflection of the society is emerged or is being portrayed to the entire nation, entire country, and even across the borders. So the enthusiasm and active participation of the students in today's event will prove how our youth fervent in exhibiting its identity and true Pakistani person. The ability to express oneself in a clear, concise, and compelling manner or convincing manner is a crucial skill which our students should acquire during their academic learning or environment. Of course, you always learn through your curriculum, and over and above, you also learn through your academic ambience which exists within the university's campuses environment. So it is a crucial skill that will serve you well in your personal and as well as professional lives. And look forward to witness the talent which would be showcased by our students through the zealous speeches to which we are aspirant to listen. Speeches to reflect the significance of our Constitution still holds and will hold for the years to come. I would like to thank you for joining us today in this event, in this activity which is about celebrating our Golden Jubilee of the Constitution of Pakistan, which is organized by the Academic Division of the Higher Education Commission. And appreciate our students for really participating in this event with remarkable zeal and fervor. And I also extend warm gratitude to our jury members who have spared their precious time and they have come to us to really support this endeavor by making a fair and a transparent judgment. They have a very diverse capabilities and abilities to assess your speeches which you would be delivering today down the road on both English as well as Urdu topics. So we are looking forward to see a good, healthy and competitive environment in the entire day. Thank you all for patient listening.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. This brings us to the formal commencement of the declamation competition. I would now like to start with the introduction of our honorable judges. We have Dr. Muhammad Munir Ahmed with us. He is Assistant Professor in the Fiqh and Law Department of Islamic Research Institute, International Islamic University, Islamabad. Holds a PhD in Muslim Family Law from McGill University, Canada. He is also a graduate of Al-Azhar University, Egypt. He has widely published articles and books in national and international journals. He has recently represented Pakistan in a symposium held in Boston University Law School, USA, where he presented Pakistan's mental health laws and Supreme Court of Pakistan's recent judgment. He speaks Urdu, English, Arabic, French, and Persian. Sir, we are really obliged for your time, and it's an honor to have you here with us. Thank you very much for coming. Then we have Mr. Muhammad Arslan, who has been working with PTV World for the last 8 years as head of programming. He has worked for numerous renowned channels such as Geo News, Dunya News, Aaj News. He is also serving as visiting faculty of Media Sciences in Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad, and Zabist. Sir, a very warm welcome to you as well. Thank you very much for coming and joining us. We have our very own Dr. Humaira Aslam with us, who is an associate professor and has 25 years of teaching experience in our very prestigious University of Peshawar. Madam, it's an honor to have you here all the way from Peshawar. Thank you very much for being able to make it. A very warm welcome to you all. We shall now start with the English speeches, starting with Air University's Aisha Siddiqa. Lots of clapping for her, please. Welcome, Aisha Siddiqa. Wish you all the best, Aisha.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let me ask you this. Have you ever taken a moment to think of the freedom that you have? The liberty that allows you to speak your mind and pursue your passion and live according to your choice? Have you ever thought of that? If so, then you have a constitution to thank for it. A constitution is a binding document and a living document that allows you to pursue whatever you want to do. A constitution is a breathing document. It's not just a piece of paper that is gathering dust on a museum. No, it's not like that. Imagine for a moment that you wake up tomorrow and there is no constitution. What would you do then? There would be no law. There would be no law to protect your rights. There would be no framework to govern your daily life, and there would be no concept of there would be no check and balance on people who are in power. Without constitution, our country would be a completely different place. Without constitution, our country would be a completely different place. We might not have freedom of speech. We might not have freedom of expression. We might not have a freedom of fair trial and freedom to worship. Let's not forget the sacrifices. Let's not forget the sacrifices that were made to defend it. Our constitution, we didn't get it in one go. There were from revolutionary wars to civil rights movements, men and women, brave men and women fought and they died to defend it. And now it falls on us. It's now our responsibility to strive for it and to make it a beacon of, to make it a shining beacon of our country. It's our responsibility to cherish it, to respect it and to protect it. Because without it, we won't be a land of free and we won't be a home of brave. Dear esteemed citizens, I want you to think for a moment that delve deep into the idea that Constitution is a living document, just like a tree that grows and adapts to the changing seasons. Same like the Constitution has to meet the dynamics of a diverse society. We have to amend the Constitution time by time because in order to compete with the changing world. I ask you again, have you ever thought of the freedom that it provides you? Have you ever thought of that? I ask you again, have you ever thought of the freedom that it provides you? Please don't let yourself forget that it's essential. Constitution is essential for you because it provides you all the rights of living freely in a society. It do not. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aisha. I would now like to call upon Sara Saqib Ahmed from Capital University of Science and Technology. A big hand for Sara Saqib.
Mr. President, honorable ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Sometimes I imagine that the flag of green I hoist every day will shelter me from the torrential rains of injustice. Sometimes I imagine that the mighty Himalayas will shield me from the storms of cruelty. Sometimes I imagine that the zealous anthem that I sing every day will protect me from the deafening blows of insecurity and threat. That my Constitution is the ultimate guarantee for my freedom. But forgive my treason, Mr. President, for the Constitution is not, in fact, a guarantee of my freedom, but only for that of the rich and the powerful. For the Constitution is made by the powerful, for the powerful, and will forever be the strings in their puppeteering hands, Mr. President. The importance of rule of law cannot be overstated. The Constitution is meant to grant the common man his right. But the Constitution is no guarantee of freedom if there is no governance which upholds it. The Constitution is no guarantee of freedom if the poor man wastes away his life outside of courts with his paperwork, begging for justice, while those with deeper pockets have it their way with ease. Mr. President, politicians love to chant democracy. It is always the ideal until they decide that the tide is not going in their direction and that they need to tinker with the system in order to regain leverage. We have seen that throughout history with politicians playing hopscotch between the 8th, 13th, 17th, and 18th Amendments of the Constitution. A tug of war between prime ministerial and presidential forms of power, all to cater to a lust of authority. Mr. President, how can a document that can be so easily tampered by politicians guarantee me my freedom? Mr. President, the people of Indian-occupied Kashmir believe that their constitution under Article 370 would guarantee them their freedom, and how well has that been held up? The constitution of Myanmar is supposed to grant the Muslims of Rohingya their rights, and yet a genocide continues in spite of them being granted their rights under Article 363 of their constitution. Mr. President, the Constitution of Pakistan, since its conception in 1973, has been trampled over by the boots of military authority, by hybrid regimes, by states within states multiple times, only 2 incidents of which are the martial laws of 1977 and 1999. How can a constitution which cannot even defend itself defend my freedom? Mr. President, the Constitution of Pakistan provides an outline, I repeat, an outline of law and order and of fundamental rights. And now this outline is interpreted by powerful sectors in order to gain advantage, while the poor man gets caught in the mumbo-jumbo of legal parlance. It's all a matter of show me the face and I'll show you the rule. Mr. President, Article 19 of the Constitution of Pakistan gives people the right to profess, to propagate, and to practice religion. Where are these rights when temples and churches get demolished by mobs or by the administration in the name of anti-encroachment? Where are these rights? Does the Constitution not belong to minority groups? Where are these rights when mob lynching and violence occurs? Ask Mashal Khan, ask Priyanka Kumara whether the Constitution guaranteed them their freedom. Mr. President, 5,000 cases of enforced disappearances have occurred since 2009, according to the Defense of Human Rights Organization. Ask the families of these people just how much freedom the Constitution has guaranteed them. Mr. President, so forgive me, for I do not believe that a documentation can magically give me my rights. For I call for social reform, for actual law and order, not just on paper, but in practice. Thank you.
Thank you for your exuberance, Sara. I would like to now call Rimal Imtiaz from ComSat's University WAH campus. Please welcome Rimal. I think you would all be needing motivation as well once you're here. So please be generous in clapping. Thank you.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. With the dawn of sun today, greetings, Mr. President. From blood trains carrying corpses into the night, from mob violence surrounding the Red Cliff line, from the ashes of burnt mansions to all the riotings, rose an Islamic Republic, adding further weight to the two-nation theory during its inception. According to conservative estimates, More than 2 lakh lives were lost during the migratory riots of 1947. Freedom was not merely achieved, it came at a deadly cost. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, my country and its constitution is the product of a tirelessly sacrificial journey. Today, I stand before you to speak about one of the most important documents that governs our lives, the Constitution, Mr. President. The Constitution of our country is the very foundation of our democracy, and that is what guarantees our freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, the sacrifices made by our ancestors are part and parcel of all we have achieved to date. We have carefully integrated the guiding lights of Islam into the building blocks of our glorious nation through times of severe adversity. For my constitution, ladies and gentlemen, is the guarantee of my fundamental rights and principles. A document which have evolved over time into an elaborate set of guidelines governing the lives of all citizens. It is the embodiment of our values, aspirations, and dreams. I'll even go as far as to say that who needs the UN Charter of Human Rights? Who? When my constitution itself articulates all my freedoms so diligently. It seems like every other day the boundless right to freedom of speech is at odds with someone else's right to not be offended. This is not at all surprising in a world struggling with a great deal of polarization. For it's often about respecting the boundaries more, rather than creating a one-fit-size solution. And my constitution, ladies and gentlemen, and my constitution does exactly that. It values justice, respect, and human dignity. It empowers us to elect a representative. It gives us freedom of religion, assembly, and association. And to hold and accountable. Ladies and gentlemen, my constitution allows for freedom of speech and freedom of press too, as long as it doesn't interfere with the integrity and security of our great nation. So this means that we as a nation are a lot more aware of human sensitivities while being able to protect our national interest in an effective manner. Ladies and gentlemen, let us remember that the Constitution is not just a document. It is the symbol of our values, our way of life. So let us cherish it, protect it, and uphold it so that we may continue to enjoy the freedom that it guarantees. Mr. President, I often look some of the most influential personalities in acting within the limits of our Constitution. Personalities who defined what it truly meant to be Pakistani. For this feeling manifest from the plight of Abdul Sattar Eidi, from the hard work of Arfa Karim, from the legal brilliance of Aisha Malik, from the determination of Ali Satpara, from the voice of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. They were free enough to transform the philosophy and culture of our great nation. So I ask you today, ladies and gentlemen, what is our excuse? What is our guilt? I rest my case. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Hamna Khalil is coming now from Fatma Jinnah Women University, Rawalpindi. Hamna Khalil.
May I start, sir? My constitution, the essence of my identity. A commitment to democracy, the foundation of my entity. It protects my beliefs, my faith, my expression.
and empowers me to stand up to any oppression. Highly venerated guest of honor, eminently esteemed teachers, and my treasured fellow students, Assalamu alaikum. I feel greatly privileged to submit my humble submissions in this august gathering on the topic, my Constitution, grantor of my freedom. Inquisitive listeners, our Constitution is a symbol of our democracy, the foundation of our freedom, and the reflection of our shared history and aspirations. It is the embodiment of our dignified foundations and a testament to the belief in justice and freedom. Perceptive audience, the struggle to frame a constitution for a newly formed state of Pakistan was a tumultuous journey, fraught with numerous challenges right from the beginning. The debacle of East Pakistan has changed the entire national and global scenario. The lawmakers of the erst Pakistan then strive for a legal document to run the affairs of state. My dear fellows, it is a matter of great pride that finally a unanimously framed constitution with a federal parliamentary system was approved in 1973. It is the constitution that envisaged liberty, equality, fraternity, and the rule of law, as was declared by Great Qaid. You are free. You are free to go to your temples. You are free to go to your mosque or any other place of worship in this state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion, caste, or creed that has nothing to do with the business of the state. Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution of Pakistan is a fundamental document that guarantees our freedom to express our views and opinions, our freedom to practice our religion, and the freedom to assemble peacefully. My dear fellows, it is imperative to know that the Constitution of Pakistan is not just about protecting the rights of majority, but also to ensure that the rights and the freedom of minorities must be protected. But with rights comes responsibilities. As a responsible citizen of Pakistan, it is our duty to uphold the values and principles enshrined in the Constitution. It means to participate in democracy, respect the rights and freedoms of others, and support the rule of law. Dear audience, the Constitution of Pakistan is not just a book of few pages. It's our binding force, our bond of nationhood, our way of life. It's an all-encompassing treatise that must not only be read and understood, but practiced and implemented in true letter and spirit. Dear audience, let's embrace the responsibility that our Constitution has envisaged. Let us be the guardians of our freedom and the defenders of our Constitution. Let us all celebrate the ideal of democracy that our Constitution has envisaged. Let us all celebrate our unity in diversity. For in the end, it is not just a document that guarantees our freedom, but the collective will of people to uphold its values and principles. And my dear fellows, it is that will, it is that determination, and it is that passion that will ensure that the Constitution of Pakistan remains the grantor of our freedom and the foundation of our democracy for generations to come. Thanks for hearing me with patience.
Now, audience, I would like you all to give a big hand to our first male contestant for English debate. It's Sayyid Muhammad Muntazir Abbas Latif.
To him we belong, and to him we shall return. Allah, the one true Lord, with his name I begin. The Constitution of Pakistan is the backbone of our democracy. Our Constitution provides us with the freedom of speech, assembly, and religion, along with various other rights that protect our dignity as individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, it provides a framework for the governance, ensuring that every citizen is equal in the eyes of law. Mr. President, it is clearly stated in the Article 19 of 1973 Constitution, every citizen shall have the right to the freedom of speech, and there shall be the freedom of press. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan and its constitution is the product of hard work of our forefathers who envisioned Pakistan, a country where people can live with freedom and dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a minute of silence. Do you hear the cries of the people begging for their rights? No. Because these voices were shut down by our system. Ladies and gentlemen, the current wave of violence and unrest in some parts of our country has raised concerns about the protection of basic fundamental human rights and freedom. As Pakistanis, we must ask ourselves, is our constitution being followed and upheld? Are the fundamental rights guaranteed by our constitution being upheld? Mr. President, are they? After the formation of Pakistan, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah said, "You are free to go to your temples. You are free to go to your mosque or any other place of worship in state of Pakistan." Our constitution is based on Jinnah's vision. But ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan which we see today is not the Jinnah's vision. He envisioned it to be free and sovereign. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, the Constitution is not the document for the government to restrain people, but it's an instrument for the people to restrain the government. In order to maintain the sovereignty and integrity of Pakistan, dear audience, we should become united. As it is well said, united we stand, divided we fall. And as Pakistani, I feel proud. I feel proud that I am free. I feel proud that I am independent. And my constitution is a guarantee of my freedom. My constitution is a guarantee of my freedom. Thank you.
Next is Ms. Tuba Rashid from Institute of Space Technology, Islamabad.
Mr. President, according to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the top priority of an individual is self-actualization, which is the realization of a person's full potential. And as a citizen of Pakistan, and especially as a student and as a woman, when I go through the green book of this country, I find all essentials to attain self-actualization. So it is loud and clear that my constitution guarantees my freedom. So let me take a U-turn. Ladies and gentlemen, you should know the truth. And truth will make you free, because they are slaves who fear to speak for the fallen and the weak. They are slaves who will not choose hatred, scoffing, and abuse. Rather than in a silent shrink from the truth we need must think. They are slaves who dare not be in the right with 2 or 3. Mr. President, there is no need to make this declamation so emotional whenever we talk about the subcontinent. And the reason is, more than 95% of the people have not studied the 225-pager Constitution of Pakistan, including from Article 8 to 28, which talks about the human right. And the history of freedom is the history of human rights. Why do we only talk about this freedom of speech and freedom of expression and freedom to vote and freedom of education? United Nations has given you all this, even to the countries like Jordan. So what was the need of the Constitution of Pakistan? When you say this, my Constitution guarantee my freedom. What is the need of the Constitution of Pakistan? From freedom to freedom. From freedom to freedom of language and freedom of speech. There is a long route, and we got to think about it. Before freedom, imagine it's 1946, and we are struggling for freedom, and we are struggling so that we can live our lives according to the teachings of Islam. We could have gone to India, but we didn't do that. And the reason is, we wanted a full set of rules so that we could practice our lives according to ourselves, according to our own ways. And that's what the Constitution gave us. And if you talk about this Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, why do we forget Islam? Islam is the Constitution. Quran is the Constitution. And moving on, Mr. President, if you need some examples, let me give you some examples. There was a time when we were not able to raise voices in the United Nations in favor of Kashmir. But today, we got such power of speech and power of expression that today, if some of the first world countries, they speak or they try to pressurize us, we got such power to stop and shut their mouths by saying absolutely not. This is just because of this Constitution. And my last point is, recently I got through news and it showed that International Monetary Fund, they asked Pakistan to compromise on their nuclear project. But you know what our foreign minister said? He stated that our nuclear program is very, very sacred to us. And in any case, we are not ready to compromise. We are not ready to compromise. And that's the power which the Constitution has given us. It is not only restricted to the expression or speech. We got to think about it, that Pakistan, this Constitution is giving us the right not only to Muslims, but also to the minorities. There is no discrimination. Every citizen is equal in the eyes of law. And at last, I would like to say that Pakistan is, honestly I'm speaking, its ideology is literally threatened. Not only ideology. There is a great stress and threat to its very, very existence, not only from within, but also from without. And as a citizen of this sacred state, what should I say? As a citizen of this sacred state, we are not up to the mark. Our principles are not up to the mark. Because we have to follow the teachings of Islam. So in view of foregoing defects and shortcomings, our system needs a radical change. Our government should create early steps to give Pakistani color to our schools, colleges, and organizations. So we may study this 225-pager Constitution, and we may get to know that our Constitution guarantees our freedom, and we are free. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Tuba. International Islamic University Islamabad is next with Visha Binti Zafarullah for English speech.
Assalamu alaikum. The world, with its model, mold and modules, has been an enigma, compelling prophets and philosophers alike to unravel the mystique of its being, be it the divinity of the Talmud or the Ten Commandments, the universality of Bible or the Holy Quran, the manuals of Aristotle or Galileo, the constitutions of Athens or England. The religions of the world and its geniuses have attempted persistently to probe the phenomenon. The outcome is a range of scenarios, either mysticism or mythology, reverence or research, theory or truth, faith or logic. For now, let us do away with the plethora of explanations and kill the confusion by clinging to the crucial fact of existence that living within a society is our inalienable need as humans. We all agree to live within a society and own our role as its inhabitants. We all agree that otherwise we'd be living in a jungle, although a jungle where us humans are the only animals. Respected audience, why swim into the sea of speculations, and why not survey the certainties of the present? Let us cling to anthropology and discovered documents to take a hint as to what has made us and what has shaped society. The law, religious, moral, corporate or civil, but the law. Morality is the minimum foundation upon which the edifice of society proudly stands and abidingly shines. Lawgivers are many, and all of them shaped society. Few were flexible, and many were merciless. But all of them limited the liberty of the individual for the sake of society. Hammurabi did it in Babylon. The pharaohs did it in Egypt. Plato and Aristotle did it in Greece. But the first ever comprehensive manual for universal law came from the greatest of them all, from the final prophet during his final pilgrimage, the Khutbah-e-Hijjatul Wada, where Hammurabi went for an eye, where Plato wanted to eliminate the freedom of expression and censor poetry, where Aristotle defended slavery, the last prophet made all humans equal, brought Arabs to the same level as non-Arabs, and killed the criterion of the color of our skin to gauge the superiority of one man over the other. There, he made all of us kin and all humanity, all faithful, a family. This was the constitution for humanity and a framework for society. Morality, and a framework for society. The Constitution and our liberty and the individual liberty is most intricately linked. Let me explain to you how. Allow me to explain. What is my freedom if it imprisons others? What is my freedom if it inflicts pain on others while giving me happiness? Do I even deserve freedom if it comes at the cost of others' freedom? What is I? What is others? We are all one whole, a society. And what is a society without a constitution? A jungle. You, me and us can only avail the fragrance of freedom if the unchained liberty of every individual is put under the lock of Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Visha. This was Visha bint Zafarullah from International Islamic University, Islamabad. Now we would like to invite Mr. Uzair Javed from Muhyiddin Islamic Medical College, Azad Jammu Kashmir. Mr. Uzair Javed, the second male contestant so far.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
starting with the greatest name of Allah, who is initiator, creator, and the designer of whole universe. Today, I'm very much honored to address this esteemed assembly on the significance of my constitution, guarantee of my freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, let us not go too far and come to the preamble of our very own constitution, which states, and I narrate, the sovereignty over the entire universe belongs to Almighty Allah alone, and the authority to be exercised by the people of Pakistan within the limits prescribed by Him is a sacred trust, and wherein the state shall exercise its powers and authorities through the chosen representatives of people. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please note that the state shall exercise its powers and authority through the chosen representatives of people. It would not have been written if I had not been free. It would not have been written if I had been a slave. It is written because Pakistan is a democratic state. It is written because I, as a citizen of Pakistan, is free. Now, dear audience, please allow me to say that yes, my constitution does guarantee my freedom. Now, what else to expect from a constitution whose very preamble is addressing me to choose my own representative? Certainly, the guarantee of freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, I do agree with the thoughts coming to your mind that freedom is not just about choosing the own representative. Freedom is so much more than that. Freedom is to move freely. Freedom is to speak freely. Freedom is whatever the heart desires to do. In a nutshell, freedom is to live freely. Ladies and gentlemen, is my constitution, your constitution, the constitution of every single Pakistani not granting these basic human rights? I disagree with those who say no, because the first 28 articles of Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan are the embodiment of human rights. The dignity of a man is inviolable. The dignity of a home is inviolable. No man can be the subject to torture to extract the evidence. These are not my lines. These are the lines of Article 13 of Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Then how can we say which constitution defends my dignity is not granting me freedom? We can assemble. We can speak. We can take out processions. We can do what our heart desires. What is this? Is this not the freedom? According to the Article 19, anyone in the country is free to speak, subject to the public morality and the law. Ladies and gentlemen, there are those who say that Constitution is not granting us freedom. I ask them that what is there in the processions when we stand on the stage, we take the mic in hands and we do whatever we want to say. That is freedom. And with freedom comes growth. Let us not go too far again and come to the slogan of HEC. What is it? It is to aid the universities for the socio-economic development. This clearly tells us that when there is freedom, there is growth. And where there is growth, there is success. History remembers the time that whenever this constitution was broken, there was barbarism, corruption, disruption, unemployment, and many other ill elements of society. Please, let us not repeat that mistake ever again. Please, let us not break our constitution. Because denying constitution is denying freedom. And denying freedom is denying identity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uzair. We all enjoyed your exuberance. I am sure all of you did. A round of applause for Uzair, please. Okay, now we have National Defense University, and Waleed Noor would be competing from National Defense University, Islamabad. Please, Waleed.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. From dreadful end of civilization to the astounding beginning of norms and values, from prevalence of chaos to the dominance of peace and harmony, from the chains of slavery to the cradle of freedom, it is the Constitution. Yes, respected audience, it is the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan which has assisted us to cover this journey. Respected audience, today I have a question here. Why there is a need of Constitution in the state? Let me answer this, respected audience. It is the Constitution which elevates the stature of human beings. It is the Constitution which resolves the paradox of society. It is the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, which restores the balance of power between the masses and the state. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. It is the Constitution of the country which illuminates the people of state with the promising light of freedom. Respected audience, today we are celebrating Golden Jubilee of the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. We are celebrating because it's our Constitution which has kept us intact with the ideology of Pakistan. It is the Constitution. And yes, we are celebrating because the Constitution has kept us addressing dead. You are my guardian. I am here to elevate you. I am here to protect you. I am here to inspire you. I am here to motivate you. And yes, I am here to liberate you. Respected audience, as a nation, we have faced numerous challenges. We have been tested. We have been challenged. We have been divided. Yet we have survived. Yet we have risen. And yet we are fair. Because it is due to the Constitution, which has paved the way for three things. Number one, faith in Allah. Number two, unity among the masses. Number three, discipline across the country. That is why, gentlemen, that is why we are bound to succeed. Let's be the guardian of our Constitution, and the bright future belongs to Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waleed. This was Mr. Waleed from National Defense University, Islamabad. Now it's time to call Kainat Wajid from National Skills University, Islamabad. The floor is yours.
Starting with the name of Almighty Allah, who is most gracious, who is most merciful, who is the Lord of the earth and the sky, who is creator of yours and mine. Dear countrymen, Assalamu alaikum. I am Kainat Wajid, student of BS Medical Laboratory Technology at National Skills University, Islamabad. And today I'm very privileged to be here and being allowed for a moment to speak on perhaps one of the most important topics as being a citizen of Pakistan. And you all know my topic is My Constitution Guarantees My Freedom. So dear audience, one of the biggest evidence of my freedom is that I am standing right here in front of you expressing my thoughts and feelings without any fear, without any pressure. With an ultimate satisfaction. Where I got a freedom to stand with what is right and I got a freedom to raise my voice against what is wrong. Where I got a chance to follow my ambitions and where I got a chance to make the decisions of my own life. So if I question you here, then what is actually freedom? So I'm damn sure that I just get an answer that having the permission to do whatever you want and wherever you want is the freedom. But actually not. Freedom is the will to be responsible to ourselves. Freedom is the will to do whatever you want while staying on the path of the righteousness. So to your audience here, I just want to say, the constitution of a country is a single thing that guarantees the freedom to its citizens. And if the constitution fails to guarantee that freedom to its citizens, then for sure there is a great hurdle in the way of the progress and prosperity of that nation. Now, stepping forward towards my actual topic, I just begin with a simple line. And the line is, the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So here the word Islamic Republic itself indicates the entire freedom, including the freedom of speech, liberty, expression, your life, each and everything. So dear audience, if we see the Constitution of Pakistan, so there are a few articles in the Constitution of Pakistan that will give you a crystal clear view of the fact that yes, our Constitution guarantees our freedom. Starting right from the article number 9, which says that a man is free to get security in our country. Article number 10, that gives you the right to fair trial. Article number 11, that is for the prohibition of slavery and forced labor. Article number 12, that is prohibition of the retrospective punishment. Article number 14, for the inviolability of the human dignity. Article number 15, for the freedom of movement. Article number 16, for the freedom of assembly. Article number 17, for the freedom of association. Article number 18 gives you the freedom of your business and your profession. Article number 19 for the freedom of speech, 19A gives you the right to access to all the matters of the public interest. Article number 20, which is the most important, that gives you your religious rights to profess your religion. Article number 23 is always there, that gives you the right to provision as to the property. Article number 25, that is for the equality of the citizens. 26 gives you no discrimination, shows that there will be no discrimination in your access to the public places. 27th number of the article gives you the right that there will be no discrimination in your services. And article number 28 gives you the right that there will be right to preserve your languages, your scripts. So dear audience, can you just say, are we not allowed to say here that yes, our Constitution guarantees our freedom in each and every aspect? There are few people who just mentioned that our Constitution does not guarantee our freedom as we are not getting the freedom while being in Pakistan. So here we need to educate our youth, both our citizens and the people of our country that how to get the rights that are always given to you by your Constitution. So I can say that I can stand in front of anywhere, at any place in the entire world, and I can proudly quote that yes, my Constitution guarantees my freedom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kainat. National University of Modern Languages. Please welcome Zainab Fatima.
I am a child from a nation when freedom has been its identification since its inception. I am bred with freedom of life and liberty, protection of my reputation and dignity. Education is my right. Slavery is forbidden. I come from a land where every citizen, regardless of race or religion, caste or gender, stands equal. I am from where my speech shall not be prohibited. I have the right to practice, profess, and propagate my religion. Here my family must be protected. Discrimination against me must be rejected. At all platforms, social justice shall be sought. Being a minority shall not leave me bound. Because, Mr. President, I come from a nation where I stand tall and claim that my constitution is the guarantee of my freedom. Mr. President, tomorrow, 23rd of March 2023, shall mark 64 years from when Pakistan's first constitution was signed, and we successfully transitioned from a dominion to an Islamic republic. Since then, encompassing rights and justice, improvements have been made to make Pakistan an ideal country. But then my mind questions, when Article 9 of the Constitution of Pakistan states that no person shall be deprived of life or liberty save in accordance with law, then why are innocent infants abandoned on roadsides and in hospitals? When Article 11 condemns slavery and child labor, and Article 25 Clause A ensures free and compulsory education for all children of Pakistan, why are young kids serving at public places, at the homes of elite people, their basic rights being deprived, their potential being wasted? When Article 26 and 34 guarantee condemnation of discrimination of women in all sectors, when they condemn discrimination in public sectors and ensure that women will participate in all national sectors, then why are women discriminated in national sectors? When Article 15 and 16 ensure freedom of movement and freedom of assembly, then why are people immolated and why is arson let free? Why has the percentage of minorities decreased from 23 to 3.5% in these 75 years of our existence when Article 36 clearly guarantees the protection of minorities? Why is Priyanka Chopra lynched by a mob on mere allegation? Why is the boundary of a home molested and people molested and tortured and families tortured based on by media and mob when Article 14 and 35 clearly guarantee protection of dignity and rights of family? Why is the population of minorities so decreased when Article 36 guarantees the protection of minorities? Why are Hayat Baloch and Nasibullah Khan brutally murdered and shattered in front of their families? Why is Arshad Sharif forced out of this country and forced into his grave? Why has the law become so weak that we control law in our own hands? Mr. President, the law ensures justice. I don't disagree. It guarantees our freedom and protects our right. There is no doubt. But now is the time to rethink that where have we went wrong? Because if we let injustice prevail and unlawful law prevail, will we be able to claim that my constitution guarantees my freedom? With this, I thank you all.
After National University of Modern Languages, it's National University of Science and Technology, NUST, and we have Muhammad Hamza with us now. Please welcome Muhammad Hamza.
Terror-ridden and awe-stricken streets of Kupwara district
where someone said that the history of subcontinent is overly exaggerated, hold my hand and let me take you to somewhere emotional. Here, a young boy searches through the rotten morsels discarded by the Indian Army soldier. This is his third day without food. He searches through the trash cans and plays to fill his heart with joy. But just then, he sees something romantic. He sees an Indian Army commander feeding the finest pieces of meat to a hound. His hunger set aside, his joy battered, his hope crushed, ambitions traumatized, his golden dreams entangled. He runs not away from the sight, but towards a new life. He becomes an outlaw, a fugitive, a freedom fighter, not because the Constitution demanded it, but because he demanded Constitution for his freedom. He proclaims the night is shortly to end. Let there be some illumination. My wounds and my people are still fresh and their bloods are running wild, needing a push of a free constitution. Your Honor, history of mankind is nothing but merely a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and beauty. And if I add to it a tale of perpetual sorrows, a heart-rending tale of annihilation, a saga of destruction and carnage, and it wouldn't be too much, but there is already too much of it. Your Honor, why we need Constitution, and why does my Constitution guarantee me freedom? So I tell you, hold my hand and let us shuffle the cards of fate. Fate of every nation without a Constitution. Would you wish to hold my hand and let us visit Libya? Would you wish to hold my hand and visit Syria? Would you wish to hold my hand and take me to Lebanon? Would you wish to hold my hand and see a young boy being killed and bombed in Iraq? And would you hold my hand to visit and revisit and visit them again and again? The shattered dreams of every single Rohingya Muslim. And that is why I need Constitution to guarantee me my freedom. For my Constitution guarantees me freedom. I may not get 2 square meals a day, and I may sleep on the roads. You may call out the people of my country and say that they visit and roam in luxurious cars. But do remember that nobody dares to set an eye on my nation as long as I have my Constitution. And that is why my Constitution guarantees me freedom, not because I want to point out some liberal elites, or not because I want to point out somebody else, but because when I sleep at night, I know no Indian commander soldier can kill my young Ali, just as they did in Jammu Kashmir. I thank you all.
Hamza, please help yourself with a glass of water bottle from here, please. Hamza, you can have the water bottle from here, please. Help yourself. Quaid-e-Azam University is next with Abdullah Khan. Audience, we would need your cooperation, please. Can we have silence? Let the judges hear these contestants properly. Thank you.
Do I have the permission to start? The year of 1973, a single piece of paper came into existence, which would soon function as the reins of this great nation, the reins of a wild stallion which ran free from its incarceration in 1947. The stallion which had struggled for its freedom and independence. Mr. President, it is a piece of paper which cannot be torn. It is engraved in the heart of every citizen. This single piece of paper provides us with law and jurisprudence. It is the reason why murderers and rapists do not roam freely on this land. It is the reason why Imran Ali was sentenced to death, the man who abducted, raped and killed Zainab Ansari when she was on her way to Quran recitation classes. This single piece of paper provides us with a system of democracy and electoral laws, the system which gives power to the people of this nation. It is with the help of this paper that we can choose the leaders of our own choice. This single piece of paper gives us freedom. It gives our women their basic rights. It is because of this paper that women like Arfa Karim and Maryam Mukhtar became the pride of this country. This single piece of paper provides us the freedom of religion. This single piece of paper provides us with the freedom of trade, business and profession. It gives us the right to enter any lawful profession and occupation, to conduct any lawful trade and business. Mr. President, this is no ordinary piece of paper. It is the Constitution of Pakistan. It is the Constitution of Pakistan. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, there was a time when colonial powers had supreme authority, when the people were tired with lies disguised as promises, when freedom, a fragile thing, was unknown to the people of the time, when Constitution, a word which meant nothing to the people, confined by the shackles of cruelty. But today, I am standing here, you are sitting there, safeguarded by an umbrella, the umbrella of the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Just like a mother with her arms wide open for her child, we can embrace our freedom and be assured that behind us is a force to be reckoned with. Mr. President, they questioned, how strong is your Constitution? I answered, it is a legal protector. It is a judicial review. It is an interpretative guide. It is a promise of rights, a pledge to be free, a symbol of justice. It is the heart and soul of a nation's heritage. It is the testament to a collective cause. Mr. President, it is the Constitution of my country that guarantees my freedom. It is the Constitution of my country. It guarantees my freedom. Mr. President, I admit, right now we are in deep pain and sigh, but our flag will again rise high. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Abdullah. Now we have Ms. Fahim Ahmed from Rifa International University, Islamabad. Mr. Fahim Ahmed.
To start with the greatest name of Almighty Allah, most gracious, most merciful, whose bounty is unbounded, whose benevolence is everlasting, whose provisions are unending, whose love is our life, whose worship is our faith. Honorable President and respected audience, today I stand before you to speak about the most significant document of our history, the Constitution. The Constitution of my country is not merely a legal document, but a symbol of freedom, justice, and equality for every citizen. The Constitution cornerstones my liberty, which means that I have the right to express myself without the fear of persecution. It ensures my dignity, safety, and well-being, and that I have the freedom of speech and expression to practice my religion and to assemble peacefully among others. Dear audience, our Constitution guarantees equality before the law, regardless of one's caste, color, gender, or race. It is a fundamental right that ensures that justice is being served to every citizen fairly and equally. It promises my right to vote and to participate in the democratic process. It corroborates that my vote counts and my voice is heard despite of my race, gender, or socioeconomic status. As a Pakistani citizen, I am proud of our Constitution, which safeguards our primary rights and makes sure that we live in a society that is just and equitable. It is essential that we all understand and appreciate the importance of our Constitution, as it is the foundation of our nation's laws and regulations. Mr. President, when the path is beautiful, one must not ask where it leads. We all know that it can be saved through sacrifices, not merely through words. The Constitution will always be looked at as the most important, or at least one of the most important keys to easiness. It has become the part of what defines us as human beings, as it allows us to live with dignity, charm, and contentment. But with these assurances come great responsibilities. It is our duty to respect the rights and freedom of others, to abide by the law, and to work for the common cause, the betterment of society. We hold the right to speak against the injustice, to defend the weak and vulnerable, and to uphold the principles of equality and fairness. In conclusion, I firmly believe that Constitution is the cornerstone of my freedom. It is through the Constitution that we can protect the basic rights, grow and excel in life without any limitations. It ensures my opportunity to work, to pursue my dreams and aspirations. Let us work together to protect and uphold the Constitution and ensure that it continues to guide us towards a just and equitable society. We cannot deny the significance of Constitution as it gives us freedom. Freedom has a high cost. Life given, the ultimate loss. That cost they willingly give, so freedom can continue to live. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fahim. Now we have Sayyida Dua Fatima Zahra from the University of Poonch, all the way from Azad Jammu and Kashmir. Can we have you here, Dua?
As a free bird, I am blessed with the precious gift of freedom, a right enshrined in the Constitution of my country. It is a freedom that allows me to spread my wings and soar through the skies of possibility, unencumbered by the chains of oppression and injustice. Thanks to the freedom of speech guaranteed by my Constitution, that I am able to stand here in front of you, able to express my thoughts and emotions without the fear of persecution and censorship. Ladies and gentlemen, our Constitution is not an outdated relic of the past, but a timeless blueprint of freedom that will endure for generations to come. Our Constitution is not merely a document that grants rights to people, but rather a document that recognizes and grants rights that already exist within an individual. My Constitution guarantees my freedom of speech and expression. My Constitution guarantees my freedom to practice any religion of my choice. My Constitution guarantees my freedom to peacefully assemble and protest. My Constitution guarantees my freedom to participate in elections and vote for my preferred candidate. My Constitution guarantees my freedom to own a property and use it for legal purpose. My Constitution guarantees my freedom to live with dignity, respect, and without any discrimination. My Constitution guarantees my freedom to earn a livelihood, for my Constitution is not just a document, but rather a powerful and effective tool that safeguards my liberties and uphold my freedom, for my Constitution is guarantee of my freedom, for my Constitution is guarantee of my freedom. My Lord, my eyes have witnessed my Constitution giving rights to even minorities. In 2019, Sindh High Court of Pakistan ruled in the favor of a Christian woman who was forcibly converted to Islam and married against her will, upholding her constitutional rights to choose her own religion and choose her own spouse. In 2013, Supreme High Court of Pakistan ruled in the favor of a transgender person, upholding their freedom, including the freedom to vote, including the freedom to get national identity cards. This decision recognized the constitutional guarantee of equal protection under the law. My Lord, my eyes have witnessed my Constitution giving rights to even journalists. Recent release of a journalist, Matiullah Jan, is a perfect example of this, my Lord, is a perfect example of this. My Lord, my Constitution guarantees my freedom, and with freedoms comes a responsibility to use it wisely and for the betterment of society, to abide by the laws and regulations, to advocate or volunteer for change, or being a responsible member of this community. With this, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dua. From UET Texla, we have Sara Salman with us. Please welcome Sara Salman.
It is the 13th of August, 1947. You are sitting by the fire, listening to the voice on the radio. This is All India Lahore. Please wait for our next announcement, it says. You wait, and you wait. Your heart is beating out of your chest, and yet you wait. 15 minutes pass. It is now the 14th of August, 1947, and then you hear something that changes it all. You hear, this is Radio Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 minutes that changed the course of history forever. 15 minutes that led to the 9 years that fashioned the first constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan that declared me and you and everyone in this room a free man. Mr. President, 9 years, 15 minutes, and a written document whose first chapter declares that I possess the liberty to say these words. 9 years, 15 minutes, a written document, and a British Indian became a Pakistani, but I ask you, are 9 years and 15 minutes enough to forget the decades of slavery? Are 9 years and 15 minutes enough to forgo the centuries of oppression? Are 9 years and 15 minutes enough to forget the white man? The truth, Mr. President, is no. You cannot forget all that trauma, all that bloodshed, and all of that tragedy in a mere fraction of the time that it took place in. Ladies and gentlemen, when my constitution gives me the right to speak freely, when it allows me to buy land, and when it declares me the equal of any man who stepped foot on this soil, it allows me to dream. And do you not believe that we, as a nation, can only go as far as we can dream? But oh, how can a man dream when his mind is still trapped in the shackles of British colonialism? What good is a virtuous man when he is nothing more than the obedient lapdog of another, when he is but a mere puppet whose strings are in the hands of a master that controls him from the shadows? Mr. President, my constitution has never been the betrayer. My constitution has never let me down. In fact, if it were for my constitution, I wouldn't even be standing here today. So the question is, what truly holds us back from achieving greatness? The problem is us. Or rather, to be more specific, the problem is that we were given a nation, we were given a country, when we still had not recovered from the brainwashing by the British, where they made us believe that they were superior to us because our cultures and our languages were archaic. Mr. President, I do not claim to know everything, but this I know. If we were to let go of the notion that we are inferior to anyone because of factors that we cannot change, if we truly embraced ourselves, then armed with the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, there is not a single victory that would escape us. So ladies and gentlemen, let us do now what we have failed to do in the past 75 years. My constitution is a testament to my freedom, so let us cut the strings of the puppet master with the blade of freedom sharpened by my constitution. Freedom is the siren that sings the song of my constitution, and I am the sailor who will do everything to reach that shore. So ladies and gentlemen, join me. Join me when I say, give me liberty or give me death. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. University of Tanzila Riaz, please join us here. Thank you. Tanzila Riaz from University of
Tears fell from the eyes and pain still rests in the hearts. Bloodshed from the bodies and voices arose from every soul. And the voices rose from every soul. People don't get weak and they moved for what they seek. Journey of 1,000 miles got completed on a single night. The pain was a way to gain the nation we call Pakistan. Milord, the history of Pakistan begins with Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's efforts to wake up the Muslims, to the creation of the Muslim League, to the ascension and decline of the Hindu-Muslim unity, to the Iqbal's unique and precious dreams, to the Muhammad Ali Jinnah's journey from Jinnah to Qaid-e-Azam, and the touching scenes of Lahore, and the touching scenes of Lahore and the voices of the nation. Freedom means the freedom of speech, the freedom of thought, social justice, all over the country, irrespective of the caste, harmony, and religion. Freedom cannot be defined in simple words because the word contains its deep meanings. To me, freedom is the right to act, speak, and thought wherever you want without limitations. To most responsible people, freedom is more than what you want to do, but it also gives you the right to choose. The right to choose what you want to be, the right to choose where you want to live. Me Lord, the Constitution of Pakistan provides an overarching guiding principles to run the affairs of the state. According to the Constitution, the official name of Pakistan is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. The Constitution very clearly decides that the entire sovereignty belongs to Allah Almighty alone. Entire sovereignty belongs to Allah Almighty alone, and the state shall be run within the limits prescribed by Him as a sacred trust. Within the limits prescribed by Him as a sacred trust. Ladies and gentlemen, today our Pakistan may be facing from severe economic problems and social problems. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Tanzila. Ms. Kainat Siddique from Vivian University, Azad Jammu and Kashmir is requested to come on the stage now. I would like to request all the focal persons to call their students inside the auditorium. They are not allowed to roam about in HEC premises, please. Could you please all coordinate with your colleagues and your mates and call them inside the auditorium? Thank you. You're not allowed to leave the auditorium, please. Thank you.
Freedom matters. It lives and breathes in our bodies, unleashed as dancing birds. Freedom matters. Beautiful like this piece of earth we call Pakistan, our home for me, for you, and each one human in all the hues. Freedom matters. True like the blood in my veins that runs in every Sindhi, Balochi, Kashmiri, Punjabi. Freedom to be, freedom to do, freedom to love. Mr. President, my and your freedom are guaranteed by the Constitution. It's our Constitution, guardian of our right. Through this, we find our voice, our thoughts, our dreams, our faith, and our conscience. With this as a guide, we soar and we thrive, our liberty is secured, and our spirits alive. Every individual deserves right to life, liberty, and personal security, and my Constitution ensures all the rights under Article 9. Which means you and I, everyone who comes under this Constitution, have the right to live life freely, free from all the shackles of brutality and uncertainty. Canadian vlogger Rolly says, never would I thought I would come to Pakistan and fall in love. Mr. President, when outsiders feel safe and secure coming to Pakistan, then how Pakistanis can feel insecure? Justice is needed everywhere. Justice is needed to everybody. And if we cannot give justice, Mr. President, chaos may prevail everywhere. And Article 10 and 14 provides me the right for a fair trial, prohibits torture and other forms of cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment and punishment. And no one can arrest me or detain you without a single reason. And it calms my soul and relieves my insecurities that yes, My constitution guarantees of my freedom. I should be able to express what beat beneath my chest. Whenever I want, wherever I choose, however I feel is right. So should he, so should she, so should my friends, so should my enemies. Freedom of expression, freedom of expression, without which I remain defenseless. And the right of expression has been given to me under Article 19. That is why you see our media is independent. That is why you can speak the way you want, because you and your voice matters. Mr. President, I am a woman. I belong to remote region of HK. Standing here, speaking equally to my fellow students, regardless of gender discrimination. And this is because of my constitution, which provides me all the rights under Article 32. Women of Pakistan, Maryam Mukhtar, Lieutenant General Ligar, Benazir Bhutto are the sole example that yes, my constitution guarantees the importance of women in our society. It gives her confidence. You can't shoot her with your words. You can't cut her with your eyes. You can't kill her with your hatefulness, because she is like air, she has to rise. Respected judges, I feel proud in telling you that yes, my constitution guarantees freedom in terms of religion, gender, caste and race. And there is no segregation of rights among any Punjabi, Sindhi, Balochi, Kashmir, Pashtun. Mr. President, we realize the importance of light when we see the darkness. In the same way, we realize the importance of education when we see the oppression. And my constitution ensures that education is first and the fundamental right of every citizen. Then tell me, if this is not freedom, then what is it? Let me roar this slogan, I am free, I am free, I am free. And yes, 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 my constitution ensures me all the rights in all the matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kainat. Kainat was our last participant for English speeches. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the conclusion of English speech session. Our judges will now require some time for the compilation of results. You're all requested to stay inside the auditorium. And in the meantime, if we have any volunteers for any sort of national song, if you want to share any poetry with us, the students are more than welcome to come on stage. Any volunteers? Last year we had our debating competition, and to my surprise, we had a long queue of volunteers. Almost everybody wanted to be on the stage and share their poetry with us. Please come over. You just need to come, introduce yourself, and the floor is yours. So all the students who desire to come here to perform anything, not exactly anything, it has to be some poetry or it can be any national song. You just need to introduce yourself with your name and your university. Can I sing in Nasheed? It's like yes, please. But it's in English. Perfectly fine. Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
And what you're going to present.
I'm Tuba from Institute of Space Technology, from the Department of Aeronautics and Astronautics, and I would be presenting a nasheed. वैसे तो हम उर्दू में नात पढ़ते हैं या हम कहते हैं अल्लाह की तारीफ में, लेकिन इंग्लिश में अगर हम उसी को अल्लाह से मग़फ़िरत तलब करें तो शायद आप इसको नशीद कह सकते हैं. So I would love to present it. I've been waiting, I've been hurting, 'cause I've been falling, I need your help, my heart is breaking, so tired of crying, Lord I'm falling, I need your help, I don't want to fight no more. I don't want to fight this war. Oh, no, no, no. Astaghfirullah. Forgive me, Allah. I'm so broken. My life is frozen. And my wounds are open. I need your help. 'Cause people always let me down. I'm losing all my hair right now. I need your help. I don't want to run anymore. Forgive me, Lord, don't close your door. I promise I surrender. I'm giving you my heart and my soul. I've been thinking about my past. I want to say I found you, Lord, at last. I just want to say that. Forgive me, Allah. Astaghfirullah. When I open my eyes, I cannot see. When I touch my hands, I cannot feel. I cannot feel. Thank you so very much.
Jazakallah Tuba, that was really beautiful, very soothing. Anyone else, please? Yes, please. Those who are interested, who want to volunteer, can queue up here. You're more than welcome.
میں ہائی ٹیک یونیورسٹی سے مناہل حجاب ہوں. شاعری تو میری نہیں ہے، اقبال کی ہے، لیکن مجھے کافی اچھی لگتی ہے. ہر شاخ سے یہ نکتہ پیچیدہ ہے پیدا، ہر شاخ سے یہ نکتہ پیچیدہ ہے پیدا، پودوں کو بھی احساس ہے پہنائے فضا کا. ظلمت کدائے خاک پہ شاکر نہیں رہتا، ہر لہجہ ہے دانے کو جنون نشو و نما کا. فطرت کے تقاضوں پہ نہ کر راہ عمل بند، مطلوب ہے کچھ اور ہی تسلیم و رضا کا. جرت ہو نمو کی تو فضا تنگ نہیں ہے، اے مرد خدا ملک خدا تنگ نہیں ہے. شکریہ.
Volunteers? Yes, okay, you don't have to raise your hands. Just come, queue up here. One by one, you can come and perform. Because we have around 15 minutes now, and then we'll be going for the lunch break once the judges are done with the compilation of the results. Just a second. Somebody left his wristwatch here. Who is this person? Your wristwatch? Hamza? Hamza, in your flow of emotion, you forgot to take your wristwatch. There was so much of emotionality, there was so much of sentiment.
غزل کے چند اشعار اپنے پیارے دوست جناب حسین حیدر کی نظر کہ خزاں کی رت میں گلاب لہجہ بنا کے رکھنا کمال یہ ہے. خزاں کی رت میں گلاب لہجہ بنا کے رکھنا کمال یہ ہے. ہوا کی زد پہ دیا جلانا جلا کے رکھنا کمال یہ ہے. ذرا سی لغزش پہ توڑ دیتے ہیں سب تعلق زمانے والے، سو ایسے ویسوں سے بھی تعلق بنا کے رکھنا کمال یہ ہے. کسی کو دینا یہ مشورہ کہ وہ دکھ بچھڑنے کا بھول جائے، کسی کو دینا یہ مشورہ کہ وہ دکھ بچھڑنے کا بھول جائے، اور ایسے لمحوں میں اپنے آنسو چھپا کے رکھنا کمال یہ ہے. خیال اپنا، مزاج اپنا، پسند اپنی، کمال کیا ہے. خیال اپنا، مزاج اپنا، پسند اپنی، کمال کیا ہے؟ جو یار چاہے وہ حال اپنا بنا کے رکھنا، کمال یہ ہے۔ کسی کی راہ سے خدا کی خاطر اٹھا کے کانٹے ہٹا کے پتھر، کسی کی راہ سے خدا کی خاطر اٹھا کے کانٹے ہٹا کے پتھر، پھر اس کے آگے نگاہ اپنی جھکا کے رکھنا، کمال یہ ہے۔ وہ جس کو دیکھے تو دکھ کا لشکر بھی لڑ کھڑائے، شکست کھائے، وہ جس کو دیکھے تو دکھ کا لشکر بھی لڑ کھڑائے، شکست کھائے، لبوں پہ اپنے وہ مسکراہٹ سجا کے رکھنا، کمال یہ ہے۔ ہزار طاقت ہو 100 دلیلیں ہوں پھر بھی لہجے میں عاجزی سے، ہزار طاقت ہو 100 دلیلیں ہوں پھر بھی لہجے میں عاجزی سے، ادب کی لذت دعا کی خوشبو بسا کے رکھنا، کمال یہ ہے۔ تھینک یو۔
السلام علیکم. I am منیب اصغر from Institute of Space Technology. اچھا، میں عمیر نجمی صاحب کی ایک غزل پڑھ رہا ہوں. تو تم کو وحشت تو سکھا دی ہے گزارے لائق، اور کوئی حکم کوئی کام ہمارے لائق، دو وجوہات سے اس دل کی اسامی نہ ملی، دو وجوہات سے اس دل کی اسامی نہ ملی، ایک درخواست گزار اتنے دو سارے لائق، اس علاقے میں اجالوں کی جگہ کوئی نہیں، صرف پرچم ہے یہاں چاند ستارے لائق، مجھ نکمے کو چنا اس نے ترس کھا کے عمیر، دیکھتے رہ گئے حسرت سے بیچارے لائق. تھینک یو.
السلام علیکم. علی زریون کی غزل ہے. تم ثروت کو پڑھتی ہو، کتنی اچھی لڑکی ہو. تم ثروت کو پڑھتی ہو، کتنی اچھی لڑکی ہو، بات نہیں سنتی ہو، کیوں؟ غزلیں بھی تو سنتی ہو. کیا رشتہ ہے شاموں سے، سورج کی کیا لگتی ہو. میں نکلا تھا جنت سے اور تم مجھ سے نکلی ہو. ابن آدم اور سدھر جائے، تم بھی حد ہی کرتی ہو. لوگ نہیں ڈرتے رب سے، تم لوگوں سے ڈرتی ہو. کس نے جینز کری ممنوع، پہنو اچھی لگتی ہو.
السلام علیکم. آئی ایم حماد الاسلام فرام NSU BSMLT ڈپارٹمنٹ. ایک غالب کی ایک غزل. غالب کی ایک غزل. نقش فریادی ہے کس کی شوق یہ تحریر کا، نقش فریادی ہے کس کی شوق یہ تحریر کا، کاغذی ہے پیرہن ہر پیکرے تصویر کا، کاوے کاوے سخت جانی ہائے تنہائی نہ پوچھ، کاوے کاوے سخت جانی ہائے تنہائی نہ پوچھ، صبح کرنا شام کا لانا ہے جوئے شیر کا. آگہی دامے شنیدن جس قدر چاہے بچھائے، آگہی دامے شنیدن جس قدر چاہے بچھائے، مدعا عنقا ہے اپنے عالم تقریر کا، بس کہ ہوں غالب اسیری میں بھی آتش زیر پا، بس کہ ہوں غالب اسیری میں بھی آتش زیر پا، منہ آتش دیدہ ہے حلقہ میری زنجیر کا. تھینک یو.
ابتدا ہے خداوند متعال کے اس بابرکت نام سے جس نے ایک حرف کن سے پیدا کر دیا عالم، کشاکش کی صدائیں ہاؤ ہو سے بر دیا عالم. ابتدا ہے خداوند متعال کے اس بابرکت نام سے. آواز آ رہی ہے؟ ابھی آ رہی ہے؟ ہاں صحیح ہے. ابتدا ہے خداوند متعال کے اس بابرکت نام سے جس نے ایک حرف کن سے پیدا کر دیا عالم. کشاکش کی صدائیں ہاؤ ہو سے بھر دیا عالم. استاد محترم اور ہم مکتب ساتھیوں، وفاقی جامع اردو شعبہ اردو کے دوم سیمسٹر سے حسنین آپ کو سلام پیش کرتا ہے. اقبال کا ایک کلام کے دگرگوں ہے جہاں تاروں کی گردش تیز ہے ساقی، دلے ہر ذرہ میں غوغائے رستا حیز ہے ساقی. متاع دین و دانش لٹ گئی اللہ والوں کی، یہ کس کافر ادا کی غمزہ خوریز ہے ساقی. وہی دیرین بیماری وہی نامحکمی دل کی، علاج جب بھی وہی اس کا نشاط انگیز ہے ساقی. حرم کے دل میں سوزے آرزو پیدا نہیں ہوتا کہ پیدائی تیری اب تک حجاب آمیز ہے ساقی. نہ اٹھا پھر کوئی رومی عجم کے لال زاروں میں، وہی آب و گلے ایرا وہی تبریز ہے ساقی. نہیں ہے نا امید اقبال اپنی کشت ویراں سے، ذرا نم ہو تو یہ مٹی بہت زرخیز ہے ساقی. فقیر راہ کو بخشے گئے اسرار سلطانی، فقیر راہ کو بخشے گئے اسرار سلطانی، بہا میری نوا کی دولت پرویز ہے ساقی. شکریہ.
I'm from National University of Modern Languages and I'm presenting the dua of Junaid Jamshed. میرا دل بدل دے، میرا دل بدل دے، میرا دل بدل دے، میرا غفلت میں ڈوبا دل بدل دے، میرا غفلت میں ڈوبا دل بدل دے، بدل دے دل کی دنیا دل بدل دے، میرا غفلت میں ڈوبا دل بدل دے. تیرا ہو جاؤ اتنی آرزو ہے، تیرا ہو جاؤ اتنی آرزو ہے، بس اتنی ہے تمنا دل بدل دے، میرا غفلت میں ڈوبا دل بدل دے. کروں قربان اپنی ساری خوشیاں، کروں قربان اپنی ساری خوشیاں، بدل دے میرا رستہ دل بدل دے، میرا غفلت میں ڈوبا دل بدل دے.
آپ کر لیں پھر اس کے بعد
I am Aisha from Air University. اپنی ڈیبیٹ تو اچھے سے یاد نہیں تھی لیکن اپنی لکھی ہوئی چھوٹی سی پوئٹری یاد ہے. مجھے آنکھ کے نم ہونے سے، محبت کے غم ہونے سے ایک ڈر سا لگتا ہے، تمہارے دور جانے سے، کبھی نہ لوٹ آنے سے ایک ڈر سا لگتا ہے. چلو اب مان لیتے ہیں اس غم کے حصار میں، ایک دل فریب غبار میں ہم دور ہوئے سو دور ہوئے، جبکہ آخری بات کہنے سے، خیر بات کہنے سے ایک ڈر سا لگتا ہے. تھینک یو.
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. میرا نام ہے محمد نزال. شاید نام آپ پہلی دفعہ ہی سن رہے ہوں گے. اس طرح ہی ہے نا, محمد نزال, اور اس کا مطلب ہے لڑنے والا اللہ کی راہ میں. ٹھیک ہے نا, اللہ کی راہ میں. آپ کو پہلے اپنا مرشد پاک کا سناتا ہوں شعر. پیر نصیر الدین جانتے تو ہوں گے نا, شور سمجھ نہیں آ رہا جانتے ہیں کہ نہیں جانتے. پیر نصیر الدین, ان کا شعر ہے, معیار شرافت نسب ہے پیسہ, معیار شرافت نسب ہے پیسہ, دنیا میں فضیلت کا سبب, لوگوں میں فضیلت کا سبب ہے پیسہ, بس کہنے کی حد تک ہے خدا اور رسول, بس کہنے کی حد تک ہے خدا اور رسول, اس دور کے انسان کا رب ہے پیسہ. اب اگلا اپنا ہی شعر سنا دیتا ہوں آپ کو. تمنا ہے, یہ صحیح ہے, اس کی رت بھی ایسی اسلامی کی ہے. تمنا ہے فقیری میں 100 نیکیاں کر بیٹھے, تمنا ہے فقیری میں 100 نیکیاں کر بیٹھے, پھر اسی دعوی فکر میں 1000 گناہ کر بیٹھے.
السلام علیکم. ذرا غور و فکر سے سنیے گا. میرے آج کے یہ الفاظ میں نے کسی کے لیے لکھے تھے. میں کہتا ہوں کہ میرے یہ الفاظ میرے الفاظ نہیں بلکہ یہاں پہ بیٹھے ہر شخص کے الفاظ ہیں. ذرا غور سے سنیے گا. تم شاید غلط دور میں پیدا ہوئی ہو. تمہیں تو کسی صوفی کی محبت ہونا چاہیے تھا جو تمہارے حسن کی تاب لا سکتا اور تاریخ تمہارا نام ہمیشہ یاد رکھتی. تم اتنی حسین ہو کہ تم منصور کی دور میں پیدا ہوتی تو منصور سولی پر چڑھنے پر مجبور ہو جاتا. اور منصور کا آخری خواہش میں تمہارا دیدار مانگنا اور انا الحق کے بجائے تمہارا نام پکارتا, اور تمہارا حق بنتا ہے کہ تم بھٹائی کی تعریف تمہارا حق بنتا ہے کہ بھٹائی تمہاری تعریف میں ایک یادگار قافیہ لگاتا جو تا قیامت لوگوں کی زبان پر رہتی. خسرو کے پریم میں تمہارا عکس واضح نظر آتا. بلے پر فرض تھا, سنیے ذرا غور سے, بلے پر فرض تھا کہ وہ تیرے عشق کے گھنگرو پہ اپنے پاؤں میں باندھ کر تھیاں تھیاں ناچتا. فرید تیرے اب ذرا غور سے سنیے گا. فرید تیرے ہجر کی آگ میں جل کر ایک پرسوز کلام لکھتا. رومی فلسفہ خودی کے بجائے ساری زندگی تمہاری ذات کا پرچار کرتا. شمس تبریز کی خال تیرے طلب میں اترتی, اور سرمد تیری محبت کی مستی میں اپنے گردن پیش کر کے ہمیشہ کے لیے امر ہو جاتا. بہت شکریہ.
Thank you so much for the wonderful entertainment, all the students. Thank you very much for coming up here and giving us this entertainment which you gave. Okay, now we have to take the lunch break from 12, and you all need to be back in the auditorium since we will be continuing with the Urdu session, Urdu debates, Urdu speeches, and we'll be having, it's worth mentioning that we'll be having Mr. Farhatullah Babbar and Ms. Mehnaz Akbar, the MNA, as guests of honor to join us before 2, around 1:30. So you all need to keep in mind that nobody is going to leave the auditorium. All audience needs to be seated, and please give your very best. We want to give a very good impression to our guests of honor. You are all requested to please head towards the D-lawn for the lunch arrangements and be back before 1 p.m. Thank you so much. Please help yourselves.